to Movie of the Year, the only podcast that has the science and the screaming to determine what the best movie is of any given year. I'm your host, Mike Gravano, and we are hot and heavy into our best of 2024 mini season. Tonight, we will not be digging into movies. We will be talking and listening to and enjoying and immersing ourselves in the best albums of 2024. With me are my panel of freaks. We have Ryan. I only listen to one genre.
And
last name.
And it is, of course, EDM. And that is a singer named Edie Moskowitz, and she does bleeps and bloops for like parties, electronic dance music, I guess.
Oh, that's neat that it works. There's Cassie. If it's not from the Cars soundtrack, I don't give a shit.
Guys, Rascal Flatts is underrated. Rascal Flatts should be the top of any album on any album. They really pull at your heartstrings. So if Rascal Flatts ain't on it, I don't want a part of it.
And shockingly, when it comes to music, the most normal of us, Caitlin.
Hello, I'm here. I've won awards for all of the music that I do know and the albums that I do cover. Everyone comes to me for music because I am the album person of the year. I'm Taylor Swift.
Oh, I was gonna give you that at the end.
Oh, okay.
You are the album person of the year.
Yeah.
But we are here to determine the definitive and legally binding top 10 albums amalgamated from all of our personal choices. That is what will be happening tonight. We don't need to get into the nuts and bolts of it, but there's science, and like I said, there will be screaming. There's mathematical formulas,
and Matthew McConaughey in this.
That's what
and Matthew. It's a flat circle. Before we dig into our personal albums, I do believe, Ryan, you wanted to interrupt me here, which is why I'm vamping so much.
I'm sorry, Mike. We do have an interruption here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Oscar nominations were announced, and it is time to see the results of the Oscar drafts.
I should have known this is what the interruption meant.
Well, it's the Albums of the Year show.
Yes.
And Mike said we're not talking about movies. Let's talk about movies. We all said that this was a brutal or brutalist round one where everybody did a good job. Greg took Wicked for 10 points. I got Amelia Perez with the second pick. I was laughed at. There was scoffing. 13 nominations.
Wow. Wow.
Mike took Conclave with 8. But he could have took The Brutalist, which Cassie took, with 10.
Wow.
Nice.
Caitlin, you got 6 for Honora. And then I said that my top 6 were all picked in this first round. Mac took Dune Part 2 with 5. So she is down, but then she picked a complete unknown with 8. 8 in the second round for McKenna.
Nice.
Oh, my goodness.
Caitlin, you took The Substance with 5, so you're now at 11. Okay. Cassie, Sing Sing, only 3, no Best Picture.
Sorry about that.
Okay, all right.
About that.
Mike took Nickel Boys, which probably, the way I know how the Academy works, took Sing Sing's Best Picture spot. So Mike got 2. In the second round, I took Gladiator 2 with 1. And then
We're getting down there.
Wow.
It's not looking good.
Greg took Nosferatu with 4.
Oh, my goodness,
Greg.
Greg.
2. All right, so everything's super tight right now. But then Greg's got a Greg, so he takes Megalopolis with 0.
What? In defiance of movies?
Yeah.
Of our friendship?
He's like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. I'm choosing it.
A week after that, we recorded Code of the Century of the Year, and he was like, oh, good, Megalopolis, I get to talk about my favorite worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Round 3 was a harsh one. There were 3 goose eggs. So Greg took the first goose egg. I took A Real Pain, which got 2 nominations. Mike, The Wild Robot. That's just your nickname. And you also chose The Wild Robot with 3 nominations.
Oh, Crudes.
In the third round. Cassie, you took Maria. No Angelina Jolie nomination, but it did get cinematography because anytime this guy does a movie, he gets one. Caitlin, All We Imagine is Light. Actually, All We Imagine is 0 nominations.
No.
And then McKenna took Blitz. So right now, Greg's at 14. Okay. I am at 16.
Oh, okay.
Mike, you're at 13.
Oh.
Cassie, you're at 14.
Oh.
Caitlin's at 11. and McKenna is at 14.
Oh my
God.
gosh.
A lot of 14s.
A lot of 14s.
I feel like I'm at the bottom.
I'm sorry, McKenna's at 13. Okay, so McKenna then takes Inside Out 2 for that natural, you got that one nomination. McKenna finishes with 14. Caitlin takes Deadpool and Wolverine, knowing for a fact that there's no way it could be nominated for anything.
The megalopolis of this round.
And so that's a 0. Max at 14. Cassie, you take Challengers that unbelievably got 0 nominations.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that sucks.
So Cassie ends at 14. Mike, you do the animated movie thing. You take soundtrack to a coup d'etat, and you get the 1.
Yes.
So Mike lands at 14.
Oh my
My
gosh.
God.
Greg takes juror number 2 and lands at 14.
What the hell?
I took Flo, which got nominated for Best Animated Picture and Best International Film. I get the 2. That takes me up to
Damn
18
you.
for the
Son of a
victory.
bitch.
But
Son of a bitch.
second place, Greg. Second place, Mike. Second place, Cassie. Second place, McKenna with 14.
Wait,
Friends,
you
friends,
didn't go far. You didn't get farther than that. Who is in the next place?
Hold on, sorry. I only have room
Who's in
for
the third?
I only have room for 5 here. Let me turn the page.
Yeah, who gets that bronze medal? That really doesn't matter.
Okay, the page is heavy, so just so we're clear, I do take it down with 18. Greg gets 14, Mike gets 14, Cassie gets 14, Matt gets 14, and then Caitlin with 11.
Woo!
Now-
Never forget.
I feel like that if it's fine to like miss the playoffs if you won last year's Super Bowl, right? Caitlin won last year, so whatever.
It's a building year.
It's a rebuild. She's riding high. But I don't know. Cassie, Mike, probably Greg. Is this the highest you've ever finished? Tied for second?
Yeah.
And congrats, Ryan. I did say that you were gonna get dead last, so yeah, good job beating the odds. You did it,
I did it.
and you're back on top. We took you down for multiple years.
I know,
and
now
you're back.
Multiple
we
here
just have
means
to-
2.
Yeah, multiple. Yeah,
Yeah, but
multiple
you're
years.
like officially on
Yeah,
a run
that's multiple.
now.
Yeah.
So
It's the start of a streak. And yeah, I got nervous because I thought that everybody had figured out how to do this, and it's just not true.
No.
Yeah.
we'll always
No.
flub it right at the end, bro.
We'll always choose with our
But
heart.
we are getting at least one good pick each, and that's progress.
That's true.
Yeah.
And yeah, just to back up Mike's point, Greg could have had clear second place, and he chose to
Yes.
fucking Greg in the 3rd round.
Greg's
Just
so
spiked
hard.
that ball a yard from the touchdown zone. I thought I could speak sports for a second, and I really.
We now return you to your previously recorded broadcast.
Let's talk about 2024 in music, guys. Overall, how this year do?
This was a very fun year, is what I would say. And by fun, I mean the pop girls ruled. There was a whole lot of time where, honestly, going back in the music, I realized I had a pop girl blinder because they just like overtook like both like what people were talking about. It's everybody really rallied around the pop girls because they had some bangers.
We might have talked about this in the mixtape episode, but do you guys think that like we just needed fun and that we just rallied
Yes.
around them to like not be messaged to or like not be called on to protest? You know, in the year that A Complete Unknown came out, we went the exact opposite of Bob Dylan in our listening.
Yeah, we don't need Bob Dylan when he's up via Chalamet, and the world is burning, and maybe let's just dance into the apocalypse.
Yes, dance until the world ends.
Shop until your
I,
feet fall off.
Yeah.
I love that song. I listen to a bunch of albums every year and rank them. That's how the lockdown of the pandemic broke me, and I have continued that. And so I listened to 52 albums this year,
Jesus.
maybe
One
maybe
every week.
more.
Wait, is that an average of one a week?
That is an average of one a week, which is not how it is, because there'd be weeks of only listening to Taking Back Sunday's 2002 album, and then I'd be like, oh fuck, let's listen to 10 this week. So I would say my top 40 albums of everything I listen to are bangers. They're all fucking great. So I think overall is a really good year for music, because I think over the last 5 years of doing this, that is not true for the top 40 albums that I've listened to. Sometimes I would only go back to 15 of those albums.
This is the first year that it feels like it's kind of aligned with I'm gonna say more of Caitlin and Maya's taste, which is just dance it out, have fun vibes. And I'm glad we are all coming together as a world and a universe for that this past year.
Typically, before we would do the top 10 albums of the year show, we'll get a text from Caitlin that says like, wait, how I can only put Rena on once?
Yeah.
And that seems unfair. And yeah, now there's, not that like, everybody's list is just going to be girly and poppy, but that's definitely there. And the quality is high. That's the other thing is that like growing up, I remember basically if you're from any era, sometimes despite being a poptimist, it's hard to like really appreciate the pop that comes out.
Right.
This year, I think that, they gave with both hands and gave us super catchy, fun songs. And I think you're going to see this throughout the entire night. Super catchy, fun songs that are either trying to say something either about the world or personal and adding something to the world of music. Like this is like what I've heard before, but also new.
Yeah. Pop is art, baby. All right. Let's take the quickest of breaks. And when we come back, start building this list. All right. Cassie, you're kicking this whole thing off with your least favorite of your top 10 album. What's your number 10, Cassie? There we go.
Number 10. It's an honor to start this off. We just finished talking about the pop girlies. There was one pop girly who didn't shine as bright as the others because the quality was so high. But I'm going to say Radical Optimism by Dua Lipa is my number 10 because Dua still had it was a pretty strong album. It doesn't live up to like her other ones, but it still has some fun little catchy bangers on there, and she's still bringing that radical optimism. And there's enough to just like kind of put it on and jam out.
I mean, this is the case with all forms of entertainment, but I feel like especially music that like if you last released a 4-star thing, your 3.5-star thing is going to feel like a 3-star thing.
Yeah.
And that's unfair, but like the last album was so fucking, it just owned the year so hard. And so many people came for her crown that she just sort of gave it up.
She inspired generations.
That's what it's.
Yes.
It's so weird to have, like when I was going through like all the albums, I was like, oh my God, Dua, how did I almost forget my precious Dua? And like had to get her back on here.
I having bragged about all the albums I listened to, I keep forgetting she came out with an album this year.
Yeah. But it is like if you go back to it and put it on, it's still a solid album. It's just like it somehow got a little washed out.
And that's, what, she'll be back next time hungrier and angrier than ever.
Hell yeah.
No more optimism.
What she should
Radical
do
revengeance.
is, and I've heard this is really good for all artists, is to say, I'm of the 3 best other than like Sabrina Carpenter and Kendrick, and then just let the world fucking attack you.
Yeah.
Cassie, is there, if you had to choose a song to recommend, what would it be?
I mean, like Houdini was one that got played a lot, and it is just like a go-to, like fun, upbeat one. So probably Houdini.
Okay.
The
way you built that up, it was like, but clearly my favorite is something else.
There's other ones on there, but like honestly, if I'm getting real with myself, it's Houdini that I go the most back to. So
that's the other thing I found too with this year is that because pop was so great, typically when you're as hipster as us and cool as us, you would have to pick like some filler track to claim was the best. But like, no, these albums were like front songs forward, and I think they did a good job of selecting singles.
Ryan, what is your number 10 album?
Michael, my number 10 album is McG, his 2-star and the Dream Police album. I wasn't totally sure what this was. I kept hearing people call each other McG, and I didn't know if it was an insult or a compliment. So I had to figure that out. I had to do that research.
You had to figure out if one of the creators of the OC has finally gotten into making music.
I'm sorry, the brains behind the Hollywood hit Charlie's Angels, is he doing an album? And if you listen to this album picturing McGee's face, you are doing yourself a disservice. Although I still think it would be great. I can't believe how fun this album was while being sort of sparse, how full it feels while being, sort of just a dude and his guitar. Typically when I say stuff like that, you think of like John Mayer, Jack Johnson, or people who are probably awful. But there was also this sort of 90s feel, this groove feel. And I think what a lot of people like, what I don't really expect with songs that are just the artist and their guitar, or when it's sort of just them, is catchiness, you know? And I can't believe how many songs from this album got stuck in my head.
Yeah, he cares about his listeners, which a lot of dudes with guitars do not.
He's like a podcaster.
He's hooky, and it's like you kind of said with, I guess, the bad comparison. It's if you want to cruise with your windows down during a nice summer day,
Hell yeah.
this album is your thing.
Which again still sounds John Mayer or Jack Johnson-y, but it's not that. Like it, there's
a heavy dream pop element, I'd say, like that helps a lot. It's a little spacier than like that normal bullshit.
100%. And I think that one of the things that I noticed about my list, and I think that as we go on, everybody's list, because I'm sort of just hoping that my list becomes the list.
As you always do.
Yeah.
We all want that.
That's so sweet of you guys. Is
for you. We all want that for you.
Is so many people do an amazing job of like touching the past without fully diving in. Like just a sprinkle of nostalgia, and how this guy did a little bit a lot of the stuff that I like from the 90s. It's not like grunge, but like it's closer to like Boys to Men. You know, it's sort of, there's some slow jammy jams on this that I really loved.
Love a slow jammy jam. Caitlin.
Yes.
Your number 10, please.
My number 10 is I Got Heaven by Mannequin Pussy.
Yeah.
So I feel like
anytime
I feel like anytime I listen to this band, I feel like I'm in Chain Reaction and I'm hearing a band and I'm discovering them, and like I'm gonna be like, oh, this band's probably gonna get big.
Let's pretend that
this
there's a
pussy
world
gonna
where
get big.
Most of our listeners
do not know what Chain
Reaction is, and paint a little picture of this gym sock smelling hot box of a room.
It's a small venue, small venue, just to see a live band, and you see Mannequin Pussy, and I feel like this is the vibe that they give. It's like a No Doubt kind of feel, in my opinion, and I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Chain Reaction, just so we're clear, is not just a small venue, but famously an all ages venue. So you had to watch these bands.
That too.
You had to watch these bands sober, although you may have just bought a cool pack of sour straws just before the show started.
Part of why it's so smelly is there's a bunch of kids who have not learned how to shower or wear deodorant.
Right.
Sprinting in circles.
But I do love the comparison because the hard songs are so raw. But what shocked me about this album, and I want to bring her name up, Marissa DeBeese, holy hell. Should this person be like the new star? I cannot believe the charisma that she can have in between songs, where I would say roughly half of them are screaming hard punk and half of them are like your mom could listen to them.
Yeah.
And they are so heartfelt, and but like you just feel her and her honesty. God, talking about music is so weird. You feel like what she's going through every time. She can what an incredible frontman, which is something that typically you say when you see people live, but you can feel it on the album. Like I think she should be a star.
Oh yeah.
So would you say DeBeast is DeBeast?
No, nor would I say that I feel for her and her like her pussy is mannequin. Like that sounds.
But you would say this is an album where you and your mom can bond over Mannequin Pussy.
Every other song. But the every other song, she'll be like, turn that down. And I'd be like, Mom, you said when I was a kid that when I own a car, I get to pick the volume. And she'd be like,
I didn't mean it.
I was lying.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you, even if you don't listen to I Got Heaven, just check out the song I Got Heaven fucking in your face. Just mannequin balls right in your mouth.
Do we know where they're from?
It's a pussy.
Don't erase the pussy like that.
Don't do that.
How dare you?
Balls are everywhere. Give the pussy
that's Ryan. That was real, literal pussy erasure, which we are not about here.
Mike, I love to inform you that they are a band of battery chuckers.
Hell yeah,
Billy. I love that.
For the people that don't understand what that means, what does that mean?
They were born in Chain Reaction.
Battery chuckers is what this podcast likes to call people from the city of brotherly love, because a bunch of Philadelphians. I don't want to besmirch all of Pennsylvania's not great name. The rest of the state has their own issues. Philadelphia once whipped batteries at Santa in a parade.
constantly claims that they will have batteries ready.
Yeah, they are keeping Radio Shacks alive and well in Philadelphia just for ammunition. My number 10 is continuing that theme. It is Soft Play's Heavy Jelly. Soft Play is a raucous, straightforward 2-dude punk band from the UK. They used to be called Slaves. And then in 2022, they went, wait.
I'm proud of them. That's bigger than a lot of two dudes.
There's some connotations. Maybe we should change our name. And so they came back with as Soft Play, which they are not, but a bunch of their fans got very upset. So the track I'm saying you should check out is called Punk's Dead. And I love the punk fuck everything attitude. Always have, always will. I've never seen it aimed from a band so hard. The biggest middle fingers at their own fans. We're in the middle of this song, like very tongue in cheek about how punk's dead and it's their fault. There's a bunch of people. There's like a punk voicemail breakdown, and it's just people talking while they're playing softer guitar, and they have recordings of their own fans telling them how much and why they suck. It's delicious.
I have not heard this album yet, but feels like it's up my alley. This sounds like the kind of band where they'll wear a Misfits shirt and some butthole on the pier will be like, oh, name 2 songs, and they'll just choke them to death for even questioning their authenticity.
A long time ago, I once saw a insane concert that had like New Found Glory and Blink-182 on it, as well as the Casualties and Sex Pistols, like everybody but Sid, probably. It was a wide range of real punk, and then they forced New Found Glory and Blink-182 to be there. And yeah, people were screaming at New Found Glory, and Jordan was like, oh yeah, I got my Dead Kennedys t-shirt at Hot Topic, I'm a fucking, like, instead of doing songs, he was just turned into Triumph the Insult comic pop punker. It was great.
Sounds amazing.
This sounds like the most on-brand Mike pick. I'm excited for your list.
Mike's got a mic.
I feel like there's one more coming that's so clearly Mike that he's been lying about all year, but we'll see. Mike, as a consummate professional top 10 list maker, do you feel like top or number 10 is reserved for like your bullshit?
Look, did I sit there and try to figure out like mathematically and counting time signatures? I will say, if I'm allowed to do this, if there was any like futzing, Fiddlar was almost in my number 10, who was also straight up Mike's ass in their pop punkness. That I'm ruled.
I can prove it or be the exception to the rule, I guess. There was a Me First album that came out this year, and the fact that it's not my number 10 means it can't appear on my list. I'm just not doing it. So
oh my god,
let's get real.
You're a hero, Ryan.
I love how everybody listening is like they don't know why, but they're like, wow, look at him go.
People just stood up and applauded. And they don't know why.
Ryan.
Let's dive into a number 9, Cassie.
For my number 9, I'm still in my pop girl phase. I got Tension 2 by Kylie Minogue. Again, Tension from the previous year, absolute killer, banger. Kylie said, I still have some more fun bops in me. They're not as good. I'm going to throw it on Tension 2, and it's still a good time for everyone. You could still throw it on the club. There's nothing, like, it's just that good pop feel. Nothing's doing anything new. Kylie is staying true to Kylie this whole album. But it is still a very fun album, and I feel like it also slipped under the radar. But all the pop girlies represented this year.
Even the pop girlies who are pop menopausal.
Yes,
they're still pop girlies.
I mean, somebody had to say it.
Kylie's been the reigning queen. Producer Dave had a gun to my head. He made me say it right now. I mean, she's been the reigning queen of dance pop for 30 fucking years. She's so good. Is this the album with Padam?
No, was
that
the previous one. That was the previous one.
That song slaps.
That's what, like, it's so good, and you could tell these ones, like, it feels like they're the ones that, like, she was still kind of working on. But again, even Kylie's throwaways are gonna be a top list of mine. So
one person's trash is another person's treasure.
Caitlin does not like this album. It sounds like. Ryan.
Yes.
Your number 9.
Oh, Mike, my number 9 had to put it on. How could I not? It's let me see if I'm saying this right. Brat by Charlie 105010.
As number 9?
10110, I guess, right?
10110.
10110.
Since we had 3 brats, are we distinguishing which brats then?
We're including all brats.
All
here.
brats.
All
Okay,
brats.
this is all brats in one.
which I do think all brats are created equal. Not true. I do think this would. I think the album Brat is heavily helped by the 2 other versions that come out. The remix with all the features. There's like some of the best versions of those songs are not the ones from original Brat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is like, if you look at critics' list, this is chalk number 1. Putting it my number 9 makes me like pitchfork level cool. But do you guys think that part of that is that she released 3 albums as one album? Like, do you think that's cheating?
Why you chose to put it down here?
No. Just that it was like she got 3 shots at number 1 and she got it.
Yeah.
But she did it so tongue firmly planted in cheek and like making fun of Taylor, the reigning, queen of everything. I don't know. It feels like cheating, but also we'll allow it. Sometimes teachers have their pets and they just let them pass even though they know they cheated.
Can you guys sort of compare this album to Kylie's album, right? Because Kylie's great and a legend, but does Charlie feel like she kicked certain things up with this album or these 3 albums above what Kylie's known for? Like, do you think this is like dance music plus?
Yes.
Yeah, this is another level for sure. There is the base level, which Kylie has mastered, set the ground for, laid the foundation. She walked so Charlie could run. Charlie popped off on these.
Charlie didn't run. Charlie is galloping, and then
Charlie's doing 10 lines of coke.
Yes.
Stomping
So much
around.
cocaine.
While very much like you don't think of dance music, or maybe you do, and I'm just ignorant, but like pointing to like the history of dance music. Now, I said that sentence, you definitely do. Dance music is always talking about past dance music, and this album is in that vein for sure. Like club classics rules, and is just talking about how much club music has always ruled.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I was kind of like thinking about with this album is that, believe it or not, the first time I heard of Charlie was that Clueless song, Fancy, right? She was like featured on
So fancy.
that one. Iggy Azalea
You don't even know.
is here right now. So she's actually been around for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And so another common refrain or something in my album list is people who used to be hotshots but are now like in their 30s and coming to terms with things. Was that apparent in this album between all the and
I think so. In that coke fueled dance your ass off, the stuff she's dealing with is from let's all just dance, let's all dance because the world's on fire, or let's dance while figuring out why I hate Lord and the media ecosystem made me hate Lord, but maybe me and Lord are pretty similar. And you know what? I'm gonna get Lord to sing on this song too now.
I mean, what a fucking banger move to do that. And like props to Lord for doing that too. So she was singing about Lord, not the Lord.
Yes.
Typically I'm into Christian music. There's also a song where she talks about like, if I don't have babies, it's like a waste of a life on this big dancey album.
But all under
Where you really got to tune in. You really got to see what she's on about while you're ouncing and dancing.
Ouncing and dancing.
I like the dancing of the professionals, but I am ouncing my little heart out.
Shit, this recipe calls for 2 ounces? All right. Mike, do you have said in the past that you think that the 3rd album is the more remarkable one?
I really like the one with you get everything at that point, but that's the one with the Guess with the Billie Eilish version, and longtime listeners know that I'm a perv for that song. That song rules. The version with that, and yeah, that is my favorite version for sure.
So if somebody did take Dua Lipa's crown this year, because there was a lot of contenders, is it clearly Charlie?
I would say yes.
It's crazy how much this took over just like pop culture in general. Like this, everybody got on board on this. It was on Obama's playlist, and everybody was like, "That shit's fake."
It was in Kamala's candidacy.
Harris was Brat, and we all knew that.
Everybody accepted Brat Summer. They might not have known what it meant. Everybody had their own definition of what Brat Summer was to them, but we all fucking did it.
But like, name another cover this year or the last 5 years that you can think of off the bat that will be in 100 years, like the history of pop music covers. And it is the simplest thing you could do, and she did it. And I think that like it wouldn't have happened if the album wasn't also iconic.
Yes.
You can't just do that because you chose a green background.
No. The IMAX tried that in the early 2000s, and it did not work.
The IMAX.
The IMAX. Not the big movie theater. We know what I'm talking about. Is there any specific song, Cassie or Caitlin, you want to call out, or any other things you want to say about this album before we move on?
365.
Yeah, 365 and all the iterations of it just are so good.
360.
Oh, I thought you were doing the jerk off motion, like you hate that song. I was like, what's wrong with you, dude?
I did too. I was almost so insulted.
Is it cool if I start tubing right now? No, 360 is like a full turn, whereas 365 is the amount of days in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many albums Mike listened to divided by 7. 52 this year, guys, just so you know.
That's a lot of math. Oh my God. Von Dutch, another banger on there. There's so many, honestly. It's very hard to pick a standout from these iterations of albums.
I think 365 minus 5 is is the best but Von Dutch, her ability to make fun of morons and say, I'm that moron and I love these morons. Like she does that all with like not that much effort. It's kind of impressive.
I with this album specifically, and I should dive more into Charlie's back catalog, but it does feel like it's not only is she taking Dua Lipa's crown from a couple years ago, but like the Lady Gaga of I'm going to make pop music, making fun of people who like pop music while still making great pop music. Like it's capturing that hardcore, which is amazing.
In a way that like Lady Gaga, people were like off put by it, and then people rallied for Charlie. Like she had a way to just really get everybody on board for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, like, and this is gonna be hard to say to two of you based on how Century of the Year went to J-Lo fans, but I think that
Aw, bitch.
Oh my God. What are you going to say?
part of the reason that people like J-Lo and Fergie have found it so hard to sell tickets to their shows is that they're in this in-betweener thing where, like, instead of multiple generations liking them, it's sort of 0 generations. Like, everybody's sort of over them.
Oh my God.
And well, except for 2 people, and they both
My
happen to be on
grandma
the show.
and I went to see J-Lo. Okay,
Yeah, I think
and my aunt. That is multiple generations.
that's 3 generations.
How dare you, Ryan?
Putting Fergie in with J-Lo is a hate crime. That's
That
rude.
is truly
Crazy.
Your grandpa thought you said, "Do you want to go see Jello?" And he was like, "Yeah." But like, I think that's because what J-Lo used to give morons 20 years ago with a lack of talent, we're now getting from all of the people that we're mentioning tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And so, why buy tickets to a J-Lo residency or her Eras tour when it makes so much more sense to go see Dua Lipa or Charlie?
Caitlin,
Wow.
what is your number 9 album?
I'm gonna have
Deep-
to pick
deep
myself
breath,
up. After, I know after all that J-Lo dragging right now. My number 9 is 10K by Idols.
An odd response from Ryan.
Yeah, I actually also don't know what that means.
But like, no, when Mike introduced Caitlin, he said, "Oh, she loves all music," and I was like, "Of course she does," but she's proving it right now.
She is proving it right now.
I told you I am album of the music of the person of the year.
And we're so proud of you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Tell us about Tonk.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I think this year I got kind of over hearing albums that every single song sounded exactly the same. And Idols, I think, does a really good job at like switching it up every single song, but keeping that same kind of like feel of upbeat, hypnotic beat throughout everything. And I liked it and I enjoyed it.
They are this album because they've been bubbling around for a while and they've been fun, but this album there's a definite wave of UK Australian bands who are just like, remember how great just 70s punk was? I think Soft Play is in this vein as well. A Mill and the Sniffers, and Idols is like at the forefront, and this album fucking rules while still being pretty experimental for a band who's like, we're gonna play stripped down punk. Then they're still doing pretty cool things without being like, this is no longer punk.
The reason I love Idols and love this album, it barely missed my list, is that they do that thing of like, what if we were to give people mostly what they want, but a little bit experimental? Or,
yes,
as opposed to like the two polar opposites of give us exactly what we want, and that's garbage, or give us exactly what we don't want, like experimental bullshit of this. I'm recording a spoon falling down the stairs. It's
shots
always,
fired at Fiona Apple.
This album is weird. It raises eyebrows in multiple spots, but only to a point where like you're still enjoying the album. And I mean, I don't know if I sound like a rube by saying, can we do that more often, artists?
I think it's so smart. They have a song called Pop Pop Pop. So they're talking about, they're also a band dealing with just the genre itself head on, getting LCD Sound System to help them write a song with a big hook, I think that was smart. Dancer is one of my favorite songs of the entire year. And then this band, he's just like, a UK shouty man, and look at him trying part of the experimentation. He's like, what if I sing soft? I can do that too, guys. What did you call it, Ryan? The indie rock girl voice?
Yeah, where just all your vowels are like, so I go.
I think that's what really got me from this album compared to other Idols albums.
Because he's so like, the band is is gonna be in your face, but still he'll just like pull out some fucking Phoebe Bridgers vocal stylings.
Yeah. Anything else about Idols before we move on, Caitlin?
No, it was good.
All right. My number 9 album is The Cure's Songs of a Lost World. And holy shit, did this surprise me. I've really only known the hits from The Cure, and I like them, but I'm never like, get it. I didn't know these like old goths could rock and shoegaze so fucking hard. I really did not know Robert Smith had the heavy in him, and it's some of like the best guitar work I've heard in so long. It rules.
Well, I mean, he definitely has the heavy in him now. He has gained some weight since the heyday. But typically when you hear an album that has, or a band it's been 16 years since their last album and 30 years since like their heyday, you sort of expect to hear in their voice and somehow with their music the way that like Nancy Cartwright now voices Bart Simpson, where it's like there's like you can feel the cigarettes, or like it just you sort of lost a step.
Or a Friday I'm Still in Love, like like trying to recapture perfectly their heyday.
I could not believe, and I think I'm close to you, Micah. Like Disintegration I knew pretty well. That's like the most I don't know, mainstream album, but like I mostly just knew the hits. And to hear this album and just be completely swept away by people who are so good at sounding like they used to, and so good at changing what they do for today. And above all, something that you would think I would absolutely shit on, saying, yeah, we're still going to do that thing, even though we're in the Spotify era, where you have to like have a huge hook in the first 5 seconds. 3-minute intros, every song. We don't even care. 3-minute intros.
The way they jump back and forth between like a pop song and then a lot of just static and noise to the kind of stuff that I sometimes think, well, Ryan will hate this part, but like they do it in like they do cool looping shit. Yeah, this album. So it's probably the surprise of the year for me.
100%. I mean, people like, I listened to the Pearl Jam album from this year. I listened to the Green Day album from this year, and those really are only released for old heads to remember the time, right?
Yeah.
And for this album to come out, when I was a kid, I remember getting The Cure and the Smiths confused because it was like goth and sad. God, so much sad. And where Morrissey went one way of being like, no, I'm still sad about immigrants. And Robert Smith went this way of like, it's not necessarily cheesy to be earnest. The way that so many people are earnest is cheesy, but like I still think I can do it at 65 or whatever. It was The Cure for me, Mike.
I like that.
It helps me out.
So I had to let that wash over me, Ryan. So I had to just stare blankly at you.
Just so people at home know, in the studio, I said that. Mike ran over and pantsed me, and then that's why I was silent.
I had to run back to my mic. All right. Before we take what I like to call the quickest breaks, Ryan, maybe we've only done 2 rounds, and we've scattered a bunch of albums already. Is there anything fun? Do you want to read out the list now, or are there a bunch of ties for second right now?
Yeah, it's a bunch of ties for second and first. I think that I have a lot of optimism for The Cure and Charlie XCX. A lot of these albums we will not be hearing about in the future of this show, but I do have a feeling that those two, they might come up again and get some points.
They got legs. All right, we will be right back after this break. We are so back with our number 8 album, starting with you, Cassie.
Starting it off on 8 for me, I have Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. This one, she always has a good album. She has yet to dip, which is surprising, even though this one was a little bit different. it's all solid songs on this one. The production's obviously off the charts, and she's doing it again. Billied.
And I would say the last album was a dip. Like her inaugural album was so cool and like moving and shaking, and then I think the last one had to happen to get here, where she blended well. And this is nobody cares, but I'm gonna keep doing this. This is my 23rd album of the year. This is number 23 for Mike.
No, I absolutely am super into that.
I actually would love to see like a blog post of just what Mike's top 52.
Also, imagine the stab to our hearts when we say whatever we're saying, and you're like, listen to it. Not in my top 40.
Didn't make it.
No, this album actually has 3 or 4 great singles. I like how she told us what we were going to get, because some of them are hard and some of them are soft, and that's just right in the title. But yeah, it was fine.
Ouch.
Ooh, okay.
I'm kind of with Ryan on this.
Okay.
Ouch. I miss the I'm a rich kid who got very into the Insane Clown Posse. Now I'm going to make pop music. But you know what? She can't be 17 forever, so we have to let her grow up.
Yeah, this one it's a good balance. There's the albums, like this one has the good hard and soft. It's a good one to have your pump ups and your slow ones. Like it's a solid album.
Yeah.
Hey, Phineas, that last one was a pump up. Can we get a slow one next? Is it true that Phineas married a girl that looks just like Billie Eilish?
She looks just like her. It
Really?
is insane.
That's a bummer.
You need to like look at a picture of them all together, because it's like they're twins.
No.
Do you think at her what is the roast at a wedding called? At her toast? Do you think she just brought that up nonstop?
Absolutely. during the wedding roast.
I think me saying that lets everybody know what kind of friendships and weddings we all have. Cassie, if you had to do a track or two to recommend, what would they be?
I really like Lunch on it. Like Lunch is my go-to one.
Is that the one about snacking on puss?
Yeah, dude.
Which one isn't about that?
If you really dig into any of them, it's all there.
Nice. All righty, Ryan, number 8.
My number 8 is Cowboy Carter by Beyonce. And I don't know if this is shockingly high or shockingly low, but this album, I didn't know that it was supposed to be part 2 of a threesome of her like recapturing black music. Mm-hmm. So
okay. Renaissance
was dance music, and this is country. And I figured it out when I was like, why does every song track, every time most of the times there's an I, there's 2 I's. It's Roman numeral 2. This is Act 2. As much as I love this album, I think that it could have done with a little bit of pruning. 27 songs is a lot to get through.
Yeah.
But what works, and it's so easy to ignore the rest. But the more I listen to the album, the more I read about the album, and I find out that it's just like filled with this Beyonce lore. Like she's not just commenting on country and how she has a rightful place in it, but also like there's just Easter eggs, and it just feels very, I don't know, Marvel or something, where if you are a hardcore Beyonce listener, you're like, oh, that's a reference to that song. That's a reference to that album. It's an opus, and I think that it's pretty impressive.
This was one of the albums like I was really looking forward to. She announced it a while ago, and everybody wasn't quite sure if she was truly doing a country one. But I truly think she spent like the 5 years or whatever since she first like dropped a little hint that she was like working on country. To like really craft this and make this like, it's insane. The track list, the amount of tracks on here is insane, but she put the work in for it, and there's some really there's a lot of good standout songs on this one.
Do we think maybe it would have been a stronger album, number 38 on Mike's list of the year?
That's low.
Damn, dude.
If maybe we tighten, if less opusy and trim. Maybe do a Kylie and do Cowboy Carter, the good stuff, out this year. And then next year was like the cutting room floor.
I heard 100 songs were written. And so if you think about that, she only put 27% of the songs on, which I think is pretty good. All 100 were based on a film. I do not know how each song relates to a film. But I do.
Wild West?
Most of them
That's the
were.
best one.
Well, which one does he sing about a giant metal spider? 'Cause I bet that's
Wow,
the-
wow, West.
I didn't mean Western film. I meant Will Smith film. Every single one is based on like there's the 7 Pound song, etc.
Even Fishtail?
The rest,
Shark
Tail.
Tale.
Especially
Fishtail. Get it right, Cassie.
I'm so
God.
sorry. I'll see myself out from this episode.
But like this album got so much shit, and I dove into it today about why. I mean, it's obvious why, but the fact that like the way she comes off is not could I please have a seat or you owe me a seat. Like it's not angry. It's just like no, I'm already here. I don't care how you handle it. And I read that a lot of that was because she performed at the 2016, which is a year that stands out, I think, in all of our brains, Country Music Awards with the Dixie Chicks. And after a bunch of backlash from the public, the CMAs did not advertise that Beyonce was on the show because of how upset people. They said she doesn't belong, and you should edit it out. And what they did was just cut her out of the commercials. So
What the
Cowboy Carter is what we got.
And not even like audience members, like people in the fucking like country artist attending there fucking like rioted basically while she was performing. Like fucking pieces of shit in the front row walked out from that.
And it's because
What?
they don't like Halo, right? Or Destiny's Child, I'm sure. Like
Yeah, that's why.
it's just a musical choice for them.
My guess, if we had to pick which Beyonce songs, I bet Formation made that specific group of people a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I think that like it's so easy if you're like that to just have them outside of your bubble and never think about them. And then once they enter, like you feel like an affront that a black woman is here, you know? And like this is sort of the year also where black country blew up. And it's just sort of, I don't know, crazy that Captain Carter, she couldn't have planned it. Like there's not enough time for her to start it, but it did come out first before we got the rest of it, you know?
Yeah. Alrighty, Caitlin, your number 8.
My number 8, it's Dreamers by Charles Leclerc. And yeah.
Is this like a
And-
Disney band? The
No,
way
it's-
Cassie's giggling.
No. Don't worry, Mike. I got you. Let me hold your let me hold your hand, little baby boy.
Number 8 is crazy.
Number 8. So this is a musical project where Formula One driver Charles Leclerc
shit.
collaborates with a renowned pianist. And it's a beautiful collection of piano compositions. Their names, I'm gonna list all the names. It is Focus, Heartbeat, Limitless, and The Dream Continues. And let me tell you, I truly felt every single one of those feelings, and I felt like I was on the grid, ready to tear it up and take P1 when I listened to this album. And I could think of no better album to be my number 8.
Is P1 piss and P2 poop?
Yeah,
Of course.
obviously.
These are hot piss tracks.
Mike, why? The reason I think this is so diabolical is not only did she put this on her list, but made it clear that it's above Idols and Mannequin Pussy, two of
Yeah.
our favorite bands.
And so there's a talented piano player, and there's this F1 guy just like.
No,
He
is-
he's
the
a piano
piano.
player.
Oh, I thought you said he was working with one.
He worked with one in order to craft this beautiful album.
Got
but
it.
it's all him, and it is his journey as an F1 driver. Which, if you know who Charles Leclerc is, he's always striving for number 1. He's one of our Ferrari drivers, but hasn't been able to get that. 2024 was his year. He finally got P1 at Monaco. He won,
His
Good
dream.
for
and
him.
that's where he's from. It was
And
beautiful.
you can hear, like, he initially started dropping tracks on Spotify
Yeah.
without this producer.
Yeah.
And you could tell the difference. It's still good piano, but man, this album, actually, it is a step up for him. It's a lot of growth, and there are some fucking bangers.
Like, I'm not even kidding. It's really good. Like, I listened to it 5 times in a row, and I was like, I can keep going.
I would love to know like what piano connoisseurs think about this album for sure.
PCs?
Yeah, your PC's headed for that P1.
Is P1 first place?
Yeah, it's
Pole.
first position, pole position. Yeah.
Pole position is P1 instead of
fuck up
PP,
your
which is urine. So it all comes
They didn't want to say PP.
I
They don't want to
fucking,
go up BB.
on our other show, Superhero Show, Cassie has the thing about how she loves Bat Wheels, and Movie of the Year didn't have its own Bat Wheels of this ridiculous thing that people pretend to
Yeah.
like, and now we have it. It's Charles
we
E.
have
Claire.
Charles Leclerc.
The dessert?
Leclerc.
All right, my number 8 is
God, that was disrespectful.
Waxahachie's Tiger Blood. And she makes phenomenal music. I've been told this is a departure. I'm not, my ears, it just sounds more of the same, and I love it. But she definitely is the kind of music where I guess if you're not expecting her, you don't think somebody like me would listen to her. It's gotten a lot of, if I have it on a playlist, people go, "What the fuck?" And that bums me out because I think she writes gorgeous, lush, like indie rock.
Well, it's not about her. That's about you. They expect you to have like Weird Al and Kids Bop, and they hear her and they're like, "This is incredible." I don't know, but like I do think that like of all of our best of album shows over the last like 5 years, I feel like this type of music has taken a prominent place, right? Like,
yes,
the Big Thieves and there's so many singer-songwritesses that like have been here, and Waxahachie is absolutely the top. And this album, I think, is the best they've ever done.
Yes, I concur. Let's just jump into number 7s. Cassie?
Number 7s. Would you guys kill me if I said Charles?
He's obviously number 1 for you.
Number 1. My number 7 is Cowboy Carter, Beyoncé.
Nice. Ryan, your number 7?
Hold on, Mike. We have a crazy number 1 at this point.
Oh, did things just change hardcore?
Beyonce's Captain Carter takes a commanding lead.
It's Cowboy Carter, though, right?
It is Cowboy Carter.
Captain? No, it's a song about that what if character. Played by...
There definitely should be crossover appeal.
To change the name of that to a white British character is just... I'm offended by myself.
Ryan.
My number 7 is an album called Romance by Fontaines DC. And this is a band that I've been following for a little bit. They always surprise me. They always freak me out by how hard or soft they decide to go, and also, like we were talking about, how what decades or eras they decide to touch. Honestly, I would recommend nothing other than listening to Starburster, the second track. I think the first single from the album. And if this song is described to you on paper, unfortunately we're in mics. We don't have paper, so I can't describe it to you. But like it on paper is such a bad idea in every way. There's like weird DJing. There's the singer gasping for breath constantly. It should be the most.
Love that trick.
The way that they pulled this song off is, I do think, sums up everything about this band, which just does stupid things so well.
I do think this because this came out so early in the year, and I think it was my number 1 album when I had only listened to one album. It's dropped up and down. It was hanging out at number 5 a lot. Right now it's number 20.
Okay.
I'm still constantly remixing. Like, I go back and change 2022's list. I am still constantly remixing. I think there are a handful of great standout tracks, Starburster being one of them. The whole album, I don't know, left me feeling flat when I dove back into it.
Oh, damn.
So you're a moron.
It's probably because I'm a moron.
Actually, I just think that you have no romance in you. And
no, that's true.
It's kind of how I work. Also, I think that you're tired of those clowns in DC, and that includes the Fontaines.
Yes. Who I would also firmly put in the thing only I declared, the wave of punk bands from the UK doing it awesome.
That's what I was...
Trademark Mike.
I was surprised to see how high this was on like overall lists for the year for a lot of people. I don't know how well, like I feel like I've never heard like a mainstream conversation about Fontaines DC. But this album really got people.
We've been, and by we I mean like Ryan's been banging this gong for years now. Like you're the biggest proponent. And
on album of the year quite a few years,
which is only twice. But I think that like we just kept talking about it. But you're right, Cassie. And you know, like that's the case for a lot of musicians in 2024 or 25 is that there's like 6 that people talk about, and the rest is like find it if you can. So Fontaines DC is by no means popular or going to be on the cover of TV Guide soon, but I think this album is incredible, and I love it because, in part because it's more mainstream than Skinty Fia, and also less Irish. Like I feel like that they were so like tied down by like this has to be Irish, everything that we do. And in this one you get like blips and bloops of Oasis and White Stripes and sort of whatever they want.
Well, Ireland as a little nation is so far behind that they just started hearing other music. So I think that helped.
Neil Diamond, who's this?
Caitlin, who is your number 7?
Number 7 is no, just kidding. It's E Pathogen by Willow. So I really like this album. I just love, I don't know, I love Willow. And her last album was like a lot of pop punk, and this one I feel like is more experimental with her sound throughout the whole album. And one of the standout songs is Run. Really like that. It just, I don't know, I can just keep going through this album and listening to it, and I feel like I am cultured in music. I listen to like cool things is what I feel like when I listen to this album.
I heard her dad said this album slaps.
It absolutely slaps.
He needs another word. And action. My number 7 is Charlie XCX's Brat. All right, we're finally getting to some repeats, which I love. Cassie, what is your number 6?
Number 6, I'm still in my little country zone here. Orville Peck Stampede.
Yeah.
This album, I love Orville Peck. There's something so beautiful to me about like this gay country boy. This album, he just had a lot of fun with it. He reached out to whoever he wanted. There are heavy hitters on this album. There's like almost every song or track on this has a feature on it. And it's just because he was truly just like, let me try, let me see. And they come together. There's a lot of really fun songs on here, and it's his only album I feel that has his like country roots, but then also when he wants to get poppy with it and like drop the country more, he does on this one. It's just a very free album for him.
Yeah, the Beck song Death Valley High is like lyrically country because Death Valley, but like is very Beck influenced.
Yeah.
And this album, like he wanted to quit music, and this album he was like, wait, doing every song with a different person made me like music again.
Yeah, and
which is beautiful.
You can feel it on it too. Like there's just something like this one's just fun for me to go to for that one. He's having fun for it, and like it's so fun to have a gay country artist out there. And the number 1 song on
Cassie,
there.
most of them are, but it's fun to have an out country artist. Yes.
The song he does with Willie Nelson is about that.
Yeah.
About how cowboys are rarely, well, I forget the phrase, but like how cowboys are fucking.
Secretly oftenly fond of each other.
Yes, that's what it is. Cowboys are
in this song, I thought he wrote this song. He did not write this song. He is the 3rd man to cover this one, the only gay one to cover it.
Really?
A straight man wrote it, Willie Nelson covered it, and then reached out to him and was like, hey, let's do it together as the only fucking gay guy.
He's the first person to be like, wait a minute. I know.
What do you guys think you're saying? Because I know what we're saying.
I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Obviously on the Mount Rushmore of Orville's, but is he number 1 or does Redenbacher still hold the crown?
It's hard to beat Redenbacher, honestly.
I will say I prefer Redenbacher's popcorn to Peck's popcorn. He's about to be the MC in Cabaret for like 6 weeks.
Oh, that is awesome.
No way. That's
I was like, should I fly to New York? This is my 21st album of the year.
Ooh. Almost broke.
This is a fun game for me. Ryan, what is your number 6?
My number 6, Mike, is Only God Was Above Us by Vampire Weekend. And who would I be to make a list in a year that Vampire Weekend had an album and not put them on the list? Now, I think that their last album, Father of the Bride, was like my number 10. So to say that this is my number 6, I think is a huge step up for this band, and I want to congratulate them.
Do you think this is my number 23rd album of the year? Do you think
did we just go in a 21, 22, 23 run?
Yeah, that was a good run.
We got the runs, guy.
Are we 20 IQ points behind Mike right now?
I'm just so Sigma about my music taste that you guys aren't even.
I can feel.
Do you think that their first 2 albums were like came out of the gate so hard and so prevailing? Do you think they're making great music in the latter half of their career? But do you think it is a sign of people being like, yeah? Like, there's just not a fervor the way there used to be.
Oh, 100%. And so I think that a lot of people, and this goes with, I think, music and TV, where, like, if you're new, we're going to put you on our list because it's like the 10th season of this other show, and we've already talked about it. Like, we don't have anything new to say. And honestly, I don't have that much new to say about this one as opposed to Father of the Bride. They aren't new anymore. they're still releasing albums, but like I do love a band that has such a high floor, and then it's just determining where the ceiling is. And so I think listening to this album, he brings up, there's so much like 40-year-old shit, you know? And like, so what you get when they're young and experimental with music, you get when they're older and experimental with lyrics. And like, is this too corny? Is this too genuine? Is this too real? Am I putting too much of myself out there? Because I'm going through some shit right now. Like, I'm going through these thoughts. And so if I put a song on and you've heard Vampire Weekend before, you wouldn't know which album it came from, right? Like, world music influences. They've heard Paul Simon's Graceland, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But what he's singing about, I think, is much different and much cleverer more clever in a different way, where before it was like clever to impress. Yeah. And I think now what I love about this is just clever because I am.
Yeah, he's no longer trying to prove it by singing about grammar.
Right.
Caitlin, your number 6.
My number 6 is Big Ideas by Remy Wolf. This one is a very fun poppy album, and I really enjoyed it. And Cassie,
this one is very fun.
I was like, I don't know what else to say besides it's a good one. And it was surprising. I'd never heard of Remy Wolf before.
If you haven't,
go back, girl. Check out the song Liquor Store.
Yeah, she's got some fun ones in her past. Also, check out her bio on Spotify. It's unhinged. She's unhinged, and she just has fun. The album has a good mix of like her throwing. I don't know. It feels young, but also adult. Like she's just saying like what's true to her and throwing it out there. But then the songs are so fun.
Yeah, and it does feel like, I have no idea, everybody's so fucking young. But I know her last album, she was really young. This does feel like somebody wrestling with, like, even though she's 23, so she's still a baby, it's still somebody wrestling with, like, oh no, that like there's life and consequences and stuff. But this is, I guess it's alt pop, because I don't include her like with the pop girlies, because she is in a different avenue. She's not going to be on your top 40s, but it's so fun. The song Cinderella fucking slaps.
Yeah.
This is my 14th album of the year.
Oh,
that's
wow.
Caitlin, great job. I don't even care about our amalgamated top 10 anymore. I just want to see who gets higher on Mike's list.
I want to know what Charles Leclerc will be like once you listen to that album, because I know it would change your life.
I'll let you guys know for sure.
Yeah, Mike, one more round. I think that we can permanently get Charles Leclerc off the top 10, which I'm super excited for. But like
that's the goal.
That Remy, like what you guys were talking about, and with a lot of these albums, that I don't think we're gonna hear Rosé featuring Bruno Mars as an album on this list tonight. But there's a line in that song that says "Sleep tonight" or "Sleep tomorrow, but tonight go crazy." And these albums are all about the reverse. Like, sleep right now because my back hurts or whatever. And like, it's these pop stars experiencing 30 and 40 that I find, I don't know, so endearing and interesting.
While still making just bangers. It rules. My number 6 is Hooray for the Riff Raff. The past is still alive.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a little on the nose about being old in the past.
Exactly what you're talking about. I put this on, and my wife described. She was like, "Of course you like this. It's What If Boy Genius Had Twangs." It's like,
damn,
reading me for filth for what I'm into. But like, it's one of the like the specifics. It's very classic country sounds, but the specifics of the lyrics are so modern, and the juxtaposition of that I find endlessly endearing. And this is one of my, even though it's only my number 6 album, one of my most going back to over and over and over again. The songs Alibi, Buffalo, Snake Plant, I would say check out those for a taste.
Are you guys picking up on another thing that's happening tonight? I just feel like that for so long, it was like, oh, is this a little bit country? I'm out. And we have said this is country or country inspired 14 times tonight.
Crazy year for country. It's a resurgence.
We just want pedal steel, baby. All right, let's do this. Ryan, read off the current top 10, and then we're going to take a break.
All right, number 1 with a bullet is Beyoncé, Charlie XCX, and then we've got Hooray for the Riff. Fucking incredible band name. Have you heard about this Riff Raff? Yeah, and hooray
I've
for
heard
him.
some things.
Orville Peck, Vampire Weekend, and Remy Wolf. Fontaines DC, Willow, Billie Eilish, Chucky Leclerc's, and then Waxahachie. We have 7 albums that are out right now, although who knows if they will return.
Who knows? But we will spit on their name and not talk about them at all unless they do return. Let's take the quicks of breaks, and when we come back, more albums. All right, number 5. Now shit matters. Cassie.
It matters. We're coming back to one we've already talked about. For me, my number 5 is Big Ideas, Remy Wolf.
Oh, shit.
Holy
We just talked
shit.
about
We
that.
just did it.
You guys remember a minute ago?
Replay it back.
Hey, Mike, Remy Wolf takes a commanding lead in first place.
Whoa. 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 We'll see if that keeps up. Ryan, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is something we've already talked about, which is Mannequin Pussy's I Got Heaven.
Hell yeah.
And that has to be a giant leap for Mannequin Pussy.
Oh, it was out of the top 10, and now Charles Leclerc is out. So
Oh, no. That is the new goal.
No, but he's
There's-
stealing the points.
There's certain, like, there's albums on here
Charles.
I don't want to be number 1 because I want to be iconoclastic, but as long as fucking Charles Eclair isn't on here.
Leclerc.
That's just a French Eclair.
He's from Monaco.
Caitlin,
Yeah.
your number 5.
My number 5 is also one that we've talked about, is Brat by Charlie XCX.
Oh.
All right, I guess I'll bring the originality here. My number 5 is Kendrick Lamar's GNX. And we talked about in the mixtape, Not Like Us and the feud, and it felt like he was like, well, I have all this creative juice now, but I don't want to just rap about Drake for an entire album. Instead, I'm going to rap about how LA rules, West Coast rap is back, and I'm still fucking angry at everybody. It's not just Drake. You thought I only had my spotlight on Drake? I'm actually angry at so many of you, and I'm going to let you know it. But it slaps.
I thought that it was really good, and I think this might be the thing of like the Dua Lipa thing we were talking about. Of it's such a high bar. This feels like a quickie. This feels like
a
Drake's
quickie?
talking shit. I gotta quickly release an album.
Gotcha. But even that's for the Pulitzer Prize winning artist that he is, his throw off album that maybe he took 2 months to make is
Still
one
really
of the best
strong.
albums of the year.
Yeah.
That's true. It's just not in my top 10.
Well, you're wrong. I was gonna say what it is on mine, but I just did. Why?
Yeah.
Why would it? But like, and they're just like the history of LA, and he loves LA more than I do, having grown up near it. But and bringing, like, he just saw a woman sing at a Dodgers game, and he's such a Dodgers freak that he's like, well, I need to have her on my album now, so she's gonna be on 3 of my songs. And bring
know
like the history of like some mariachi sprinkling in and like melding the different cultures to really showcase like this is LA. I do love the song. I think it's GNX, where he just does the hook and he's like, who brought the West back in the game? Tell him Kendrick did it. And then 4 other guys who are like, tell him they did it. No, Kendrick did it. I don't know if his buddies brought the West Coast back, but that's fine.
Did you like the song that is just like Sepulveda to Artesia, and it's just streets from like how to get one place to another?
Yes, because anytime I'm lost, I'm like, all right,
You
put
put
on
Kendrick
that.
on.
Let's listen to whacked out murals and get to where I need to go.
No matter
They're gonna
where
teach you
you're
in the
lost,
schools.
you're gonna use this one recorded song as. I do like he's a Dodgers fan, and the Dodgers are like the Drake of sports teams. So I feel like that should be
That's
lost
the
points.
Astros. That's the Astros.
All right, those are our number 5s, which means number 4 is next, Cassie.
Number 4, I don't know. I have Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. A big album for this year. Sabrina also one of the top pop girlies for the year. This one was high for everyone. I know this might be not as high on your guys' list, but there's a lot of fun songs on here.
Yes, this is my number 12 album of the year, and this at first
Wait,
was
Mike, I have a question.
so low. Yeah.
If she had deleted one song from this album, would it have made your top 10?
It might have dropped like 5 spots up, but unfortunately, even though most of the songs don't sound like that, the first bunch of listens of this, I just could not get out of my head. Also, going back to the we like when the country, the couple of songs where the heavy country influences here, I'm in love with Slim Pickens.
Yes.
And her whole weird, short, and horny vibe, get it. We love a short queen. She's a freak. It rules.
Okay, I think you love a horny queen, and she just happens to be short. Let's be honest. But
This is a new discovery, the short part.
yeah, I mean, the biggest hit besides the Voldemort, the song that will not be mentioned, is Please, Please, Please. And like, this is... there is like not even like 90s or mainstream country. There is classic country. Like this could be a Dolly Parton song for sure. I have some questions about the song. I know she's broken up now, but she was going out with what's his name?
No
Potato
idea.
Head. Potato Head McJones.
Potato Head.
Yeah.
Potato, yes, that's
Barry.
his given
His
name.
name is Barry?
I can't tell
Barry.
you.
Yeah.
Who
Alan.
gives a shit? This guy sucks. All I know is he did inspire two of the most talented women of, I was going to say our generation.
Who was
No.
the other one?
Rodrigo. No,
No,
I'm a different Potato Head McGill.
you're a whole Disney Channel generation off on what you're talking about. But yeah, everybody knows Barry from like all the Saltburn and whatnot.
Yes, Saltburn Boy.
Oh, Barry Keigan.
Okay.
Geigen.
The song is about like, hey, please don't get shit-faced and embarrass me tonight. And one of the lines is like, I know it's your culture to get shit-faced and embarrass people.
The choice to put culture in there, she is so savage at points like that. Like just little things like that come in, and the album's beautiful for it.
But I guess apparently a little racist against the Irish.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just called him Potato Head McFuck, so.
So who's more? Rank that.
And that kind of support I bring to friendship listeners is I didn't know who Ryan was talking about, but I doubled down and went, yep, that's what we're doing now.
I'm going to
All
get you in
right.
trouble.
Caitlin, is there anything you wanted to say about short and sweet?
We gotta keep it short and sweet. It was honestly,
right.
it was a really good one. I enjoyed it too, and I watched her special because I enjoyed the album so much.
The Christmas special?
Yep, the Christmas special that was on Netflix that had Sean Austin
Puffy Combs? Oh, no. Oh, good.
Sean Austin from
As-
Encino Man?
from The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
yeah,
Sean Astin.
Yeah, Sean Astin. He was Santa.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Did she sit in his lap?
She did,
Of course.
and she
Good for
she
him.
didn't know who he was. She knew
Santa?
that he was. She knew that he.
Never
yeah,
heard
she
of
never
him.
heard of Santa. She only knew who Sean Austin was because he was in Stranger Things, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh, man. She's so young. Gross.
Do you guys think that she titled that album Short and Sweet because that's the type of penis she's after? Because if so, I wouldn't know what to do with her.
Ryan, what is your number 4 album of the year?
Michael, my number, what number?
4.
Four.
We're at 4?
Wait, did I jump? Are we on 5?
No, we're
No,
at
we're
four.
at 4.
My number 4 is Doechie's Alligator Bites Never Heal.
Hell yeah.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Is Doechie Cotton Eye Joe? Because I
She
cannot
came from
believe
the
how...
swamp.
It's clear.
Holy shit. I cannot believe how great this album was in doing the thing that we've been talking about of I am going to do my own thing, and yet I'm going to dabble in every genre that has ever been important, at least in her life or to her. We have a like old school like Sugarland Express. What's that rap group?
The Sugarland Express. What song? What? Yeah, speak more because I don't know who the.
Hippity hop.
Oh, the Sugar Hill Gang.
Sugar Hill Gang. We have that
You're
song.
not far off.
We've got a Missy song, like a Missy
Yeah.
Elliott song. Like she just does whatever she wants, but completely takes it over. I can't think of the last artist that blew me over. It might be Jonathan Vampire Weekend, who expresses so much confidence and doubt at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
And laying it all out there, and maybe because this is a mixtape because the label she was on kept trying to make her poppier and poppier, and so they got in a fight, and so instead of doing the music they wanted, she was like, I'll do that, and then did this, and a lot of it is about fuck that label. It's so good and so raw and authentic, to the point like she says stuff where I'm like, oh, if a producer came in, they'd be like, cut that line because it actually is confusing, it doesn't make sense, but it's because this happened to me today.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happens. Sometimes it doesn't make sense.
I mean, I'll take it
You
one
only
step
have 2
further.
minutes.
They come in and say, cut that line, it doesn't make sense. And she's like, okay. And then her next rap line is, they told me to cut this line because it doesn't make sense. And they just continue with the song.
Denial is a River is one of my favorite songs of the year. It's her and her like
insane.
weird high-pitched cartoon voice therapist. Cassie, talk about it more.
This whole album, like, it's insane to have an album. It's hard to make an album with like no misses. I would say this one is a no miss album. This one is so good all around. And Denial is a River is I don't even know how to like talk about it besides like it's fucking amazing. It's rad.
It's almost a non-song, but it is becoming one of the singles because it's just an undeniable fucking awesome thing.
Undeniable as a river, Mike. I like that to decide to put like your angel and devil on your shoulder throughout a song as like a gimmick. That to me, that like on paper trashes the song. Like I'll listen to it once,
right?
You know, I'll appreciate it, but like the fact that it has re-listen value, the fact that you don't skip it with that conceit, that's so impressive.
I if you haven't, I highly recommend you go watch her late night performance where her and her two dancers and backup singers, all their hair is braided together while they're doing choreographed dances, which is insane. And then her tiny desk rules. And also, because I'm going to keep bragging about this any chance I get, if you can see her in like a 300-person capacity theater, you should do that because it was the best.
Damn.
All right, that was Cassie's.
Mike, we now have Fontaine's DC and Willow are out of the top 10.
Are out of the top 10. No, wait, who are we on? Cassie talked about it, but that wasn't your pick, Cassie.
It was Ryan's.
Ryan's pick. Sorry, I got so lost. They're out of the Fontaine's DC and Willow are out of the... You think they're going to come back?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Wow.
Caitlin.
Yes.
Who's your
Okay.
number 4?
For my number 4, I have everyone's favorite, The Torture's Pose Department by Taylor Swift. And if a friend of the pod, McKenna, was here, I feel like she'd help back me up on this one. I think this was a really like good album that I continue to listen to over and over and over again. And everything that Taylor Swift puts out is usually very listenable. This one I think could have been a little bit higher if she would have cut a couple of the songs because it was a long one. But
the Captain Carter theory.
Captain, yeah.
I'm the Captain America now, isn't it?
I'm the captain of the poets now. No, I really enjoyed this album, and it was good.
There's like 5 songs that are up there, and if I can get 5 songs that are like kind of all timers, I'll take it.
Yeah, I could put out a great EP. So I have 52 ranked albums. I did not rank this album. This isn't. I have a batch that I've listened to. It is not on my ranked list.
Honestly, Mike, I thought you did not listen to this album at all. So the fact that you even listened to it,
I listened to it a bunch to try to fucking. I'm like, no, get it. And
Caitlin, I can't believe that you would think that a white male bearded podcaster would shit on something without listening to it first. That has never happened.
I've been into Swift since '89, which I know is not that long ago.
Okay, she was barely born then. Like,
so I went in with clear eyes, full hearts, and she lost.
A lot of this one felt like she needed to get an album out there. A lot of the times, it was hard to like come back with it with. I don't know if it was like bias, but like it just didn't. A lot of it didn't feel like.
The whole album is almost about a 2-week relationship that she had with a guy, and it's like so many songs about a 2-week relationship, and then we got 2 other songs about the current relationship she's in. So it's like she's milking that cow as much as she can, but it's dry. And some of those songs, you know, aren't full of milk.
Yeah.
It's weird that she dated a cow, but like I think that she decided at some point that she wasn't going to grow lyrically as much as musically, right? Like I'm going to do different stuff musically, but I'm going to sing songs that brokenhearted, you know, high school girls can relate to. And I just think that some of the musical choices were too slow, not bad, slow, and that's sort of what brought the album down. But again,
a slower album.
And also like she in 2024 she was the single most famous popular person in history. Whatever she did next was going to like be scrutinized way more than I think it deserved.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
And but isn't what is this called? not a blank check, a heat check.
Yeah, it's a bit of
The
that.
sports term, it feels like a bit of a heat check, and maybe just take a little bit more time, change it up a little more. It just felt too overwarmed of her last 3 albums.
It wasn't a rap album. That would have been a heat check.
Oh no, don't do that, please. My number 4 has been referenced earlier tonight, but is not on the list. It is Me First and the Gimme Gimmes
Holy
live album.
shit.
Below it,
Oh my
at
gosh.
Madison's Quinceañera.
Woo.
They do so much. There's mariachi here. There's Olivia Rodrigo here. There's ABBA here. It is amazing. Do I have rose-tinted glasses because I got to see them perform this album live? Maybe. It slapped. Was one of the best shows I went to last year, and it's just live albums are rough, and live albums with a lot of banter can be rougher. But listening to, is this Spike? Right, the singer Spike.
Spike Slauson.
Spike Slauson, his sweaty breathing, telling jokes to a 15-year-old, it's also fucking funny, man. It is hilarious.
This 55-year-old who had a couple
Yes.
of popular, semi-popular punk bands in the late 90s.
Y'all remember the Swingin' Utters?
It's like Taylor's
fan.
couch.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Yeah, it's really, Mike, I cannot believe you did this. You made me feel great, but you made me feel terrible because it wasn't even on my list.
It was in my number 10 slot for a while, and then I went, no, you're just doing that because you're afraid. What do you actually feel, Mike? I
Damn.
love this album.
Look, we're now in Resistance 2.0, and this is how Mike handles it.
All right, are they in the top 10 yet, Ryan?
Mike, they are in the top 10.
Woo. You done
Yes,
it.
and I assume they're going to stay there or climb higher. Is the goal.
We have 3 left each, and no, they're fucked.
All right, let's get over to Cassie's number 3.
My number 3 is Charm by Clairo, which this is a very chill album. I surprised myself by having this one high. It's just a very calm, like everything is, it's just easy listening, and it's a good one to go back to.
Cool.
Thank you. But she's really good. Like the lyrics are, it's just like it's a solid album.
All right.
I
feels like damning with faint praise for so high on your list.
I know. I don't know why. It's hard when it's like all of it was such a pop year. I think I needed my mellow one, and this was my
Sure.
mellow one to go to. So it just like the way I would go back to it, it's off for me. So, but like it's a solid album.
It is a solid album. I will just say that as 4 of America's premier music critics, we can all admit that like tons of dynamics in an album, it's easy to pump up your list and talk about.
Yeah.
This one is truly like almost meditation music. So what are you going to do?
Kind of like the Formula One album.
No, that one's a pump up, dog.
Yeah. There's a song called Heartbeat, and I literally feel my heart like in my throat because it just.
I'm sorry to make us talk about it.
Yeah,
again,
what the
Ryan.
fuck?
It's like the disappointment in your eyes.
Bring up Bat Wheels, you bitch. That shoots Clairo to second place, and hooray
Wow.
for the riffraff. Orville Peck and Vampire Weekend are now out.
No, that's horse shit. I will kill Claro, who's I've had on my to listen list for so long.
Right before you murder her, Claire was like, "Why are you doing this? You're gonna explain this to her."
This is for hooray for Riff Raff, Orville Peck, and Vampire Weekend. She's like, I thought they were my friends. Ryan, what's your number 3?
My number 3 has been talked about. So, Mike, let's see what happens when The Cure Songs of a Lost World shoots up to number
Nice.
2.
Oh shit! Let's hear it for old guys.
Charlie XCX remains number 1, and Kendrick is now off.
Wow. Who could have picked The Cure knocking Kendrick off of anybody's list?
That is crazy.
Not me. I love it. That's why we do it, folks. That's why we're heroes. Caitlin, who's your number 3?
My number 3 is The Secret of Us by Gracie Abrams. And this is our Nepo baby. And I think she is the cinematic genius that her father is in music.
You want to talk about damning with faint praise?
Yeah, I love that.
She
sentence.
adds the
how many
lens
aural
flare.
solar flares? Yes.
She adds the solar flares to the music. And
her father's, of course, Abrams Lincoln. And
Yep, Abrams Lincoln.
Abrams Lincoln.
This is an album that was suggested to me by Spotify, and I was like, I'm probably not going to like this, but I will try it. And could then just kept listening and then found like favorite songs within here. And like, I have listened to this whole album so many times, more than Taylor Swift's album. And it's just very good, poppy, fun to listen to in the car. And it's a good time.
Having not heard the F1 album, I will say that this is absolutely the worst album that's been brought up so far. But besides her music talent, the thing that I don't like about her is she has a name like mine where it's like Ryan Haley, Gracie Abrams. Like, there's no cool way to say her name.
Too many like high vowels.
Yeah. Get rid of some A's, bro. Throw an O in there. See what that's
just
like.
try. There's other
Grossy.
vowels.
Just be called Grossy.
Just Grossy Abrams.
Grossy Abrams.
My beloved child, Grossy.
Grossy O apostrophe Brums. My number 3 is Idol's Punk.
Oh, shit.
Oof.
Mike, Idols is now going to move up into third place.
Yes. Let's get it higher. I know it's not going to get higher. Let's get it higher.
And has pushed Taylor Swift to the brink.
Wow.
Not out,
Hell
to the brink.
Yeah.
To the brink. To the brink with you, Taylor. All right. We're going to do all of our number 2s and then take a break and then hit our number 1s. That's what's
I do my
happening
number
here.
2s during the break. Caitlin, you ruined that with your poo-poo talk.
It was my turn for poo-poo talk, says Ryan. Cassie, your number poop album of the year.
My number poop album. Alligator Bites Never Heal Doechii.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Say some more stuff.
Are we allowed to?
Yeah.
Again? Crazy
Say more
album.
about that.
If you haven't given it a shot, do it. Doechii pops off on every single track.
Yeah, I
I'll
know,
just
Cassie.
scream
We
more
already talked
tracks.
about it.
Nissan Altima, Boiled Peanuts, Ryan's Turn.
Nissan Altima is a fucking great song. Doechii has taken first place.
Yes, that's so
Woo.
exciting. What a fun upset. Ryan, it's time for your number 2 album.
My number 2 album has not been mentioned. It is Cindy Lee's Diamond Jubilee. And can we, real quick, talk about what it means to be Lynchian?
Now more than ever.
Now more than ever, because he recently passed away. To me, being Lynchian means that you are so like deeply bred in Americana that you can't get away from it, but you also can't help but like put it in a dream-like state and also show how fucking disgusting it is while loving it so much. And I did not know that David Lynch was going to die in the week that we recorded this or at any point over the last month that I listened to Cindy Lee's Diamond Jubilee. But this, Mike, 4D track?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a one-track mind. It's a 4-hour one-track thing because it's just on YouTube's.
It's on YouTube or their website, and you can order vinyls. I think it's a 4 LP vinyl for like $60,
Nice.
and I'm doing it, motherfucker. Try to stop me. Is a walkthrough boomer bullshit. Like again, like we were talking about Doechii, like all of the genres that matter to them, but they are so twisted and blurred and dreamed out, and like I think that this album is the ear in the lawn that you sort of pick up, you know?
I love that, and I think your David Lynch rules because listening to it, I just kept getting John Waters vibes. But I think the dreaminess is more David Lynch. But definitely, isn't America fucked? But isn't it fun? Is the vibe of all 3 of these artists?
Was it LBJ, Mike, who said those who everyone who believes in the American dream must be sleeping?
Yes,
That's sort of how this album makes me feel.
This is my 29th album of the year.
Holy shit.
But probably because I could only listen on YouTube. So is the low ranking because of my anger at how hard was it to get to? Probably.
I have a different theory about that. You didn't like the name Diamond Jubilee because you were always like, oh, what, do diamond mall rats eat diamond chili fries?
Genuinely
I did say that a
waiting for
lot
comment.
around the house. My wife went, shut up.
Doesn't matter. Cindy Lee is in the top 5.
Wow. That's, man, the heavy hitters. This is how math works, folks. Caitlin, what's your number 2 album of the year?
My number 2 album of the year is Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet.
Oh my God.
Wow. Rocketing up.
Mike went from it's great that we do it this format to it's terrible that we do it this format.
I should have put Charles Leclerc here.
That would
Number 2.
Sorry.
That would what, Ryan?
It's just I mean like Caitlin likes his album. That's awesome. But to put Chuck Eclair up here is like that's clearly a middle
Chuck
finger
Eclair?
to us, to the
It's
patriarchy.
good. It's real good.
We can middle figure the patriarchy. My number 2 is Doechie's Alligator Bites Never
Shit.
Heal.
Oh my goodness. Sabrina moves to 2nd, and Doechii is in 1st. Charlie XCX in 3rd place right now.
I am very excited. Ryan, do you want to name all top 10 currently before we take our break?
Well, right now, Mike, I think we have a solid top 8, and then we got a couple people pushing in. But number 1 is Doechii with a fucking bullet. Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX, The Cure, Idols, Cindy Lee, Clairo, and Gracie Abrams.
What the fuck?
Are really
Gracie Abrams?
forming this out.
That's craziness. All right, we're going to take our final quick as a breaks. When we come back, the number 1 albums and the top 10 albums of 2024. Let's get down to brass tacks. This is where it really matters. And also, listeners, if you're like me at home, there is a giant gaping hole in the middle of what we've been talking about. And let's see if my predictions come true right now. Cassie, what's your number 1 album of the year?
I Am Who I Am. My number 1 is Brat by Charlie XCX. Brat Summer, baby.
Brat Summer Forever. And I'm guessing that Ryan, Charlie, right now, let's do every step of the way. We're going to talk about these rankings. Is Charlie currently number 1 now?
No, Doechii's still number 1.
Ah, untoppable. I really don't get how math works. Ryan,
I
who is your
really don't either.
number 1 album of the year?
My number 1 album, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take you to a city called Chromacopia.
Chromacopia.
A former album of the year winner, Tyler the Creator, brought this out, and at first I thought like this is genius and messy and I'm stupid.
Yeah.
And then I think it's kind of Lynchian in the fact that you have to watch it more than once. Lynchian has very many definitions. Like, you gotta understand that. And I think that I can't believe how many knocks I heard about this album being like, oh, this guy's growing up and talking about how his mid-30s or early 30s are hard. But why did all these other artists get complimented for that? And people just said it was a mess. I thought it was this, I mean, not a mess, but just almost perfect album.
It is such a beautiful mess because he is, and for somebody like going from like his goblin core weird bullshit as a kid to what he's turned into now. Yeah, he's the most interesting artist working. You know what? I'm going to say it. In any field. I know all fields of art, and Tyler the Creator is the most interesting artist working in any field. And he has not lost how funny he is, even though it's no longer just shock value. Like, this is a clever, smart, hilarious, weird mess of a human being.
And one of the things I love about him is like Jason Sudeikis, let's say.
Sure. Let's
funny
say
guy.
it. Jason Sudeikis.
Funny guy, incredible rapper. But like when he's trying to be funny, we always know it. I genuinely don't know anytime Tyler says something funny if it is on purpose or if he's just being Tyler.
He had one of my moments of the year in the Gerard Carmichael reality show where I'm going to spoil part of that right now. Gerard expresses his love for Tyler. They were like best friends. And Tyler's reaction, it's via text, is, ha, 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 you stupid bitch. When somebody is being vulnerable and opening up, that was his reaction. This guy rules.
Did Tyler say to Gerard, I would like you, but I saw poor things, and you should get the fuck away from me?
I want somebody who can act. That's Ryan's stance, not mine. I thought Gerard was fine.
You backed me up, bitch. That's your stance now, too. Like, this is sort of what he does, is that, like, I know that we want albums, and not to take anything away from Charlie, but, like, or Beyonce, where we put it on and we just know we're in good hands and, like, the night will continue. But, like, the fucking roller coasters this guy puts us on, it's really hard for me to, like, not pick somebody else, basically.
There are certain songs on here that I hated, then I grew to love, then I hate again. Sticky is sticky, and it is so annoyingly catchy at times.
I mean, is
Sticky's
the last
a hard one.
Is the last 4 minutes the same thing over and over again?
Yeah. Also check out Balloon or Noid, or just check out the whole
Balloon
fucking
is
album.
a banger. Balloon is so good.
And am I right in saying who's featured on Balloon?
Doechii.
It's Doechii.
That's right.
Year of Doechii. Caitlin, what is your number one album?
My number one album is I'm Doing It Again, Baby by Girl in Red. And this album is so much fun, but it's also like, it starts out kind of sad. It's like, I'm back. Like I had a hard time, but I'm back. Like I'm struggling, but I'm here. And then it like goes through like a roller coaster of emotions, like heartbreak and then finding love again after heartbreak. It's a very, very fun album. And I feel like it's very much made for me and up my butt so fucking hard. But I love this album so much.
It is a great one. It is my number 18
Ooh,
album of the year.
That's an honor. I feel like I gotten Mike's top 20.
Okay, we have to stop this. Like, we have to stop being validated by Mike's choices. Like,
Okay, when you make a top 40, I'll I will also be excited and validated by it.
that's not true, Caitlin. Every time I say, "Oh, that was my number 26," you'd be like, "Fuck you, bitch."
Fuck you, Ryan.
Should be higher, idiot. Learn music.
You know how to count.
Yeah, it is, Caitlin, before I interrupt and say what I think with the songs people should check out, do you have what you think?
Like all of them. But I've been trying to think of like what ones, but I'm Back. I guess that one's a really good one, but there's also the one with Sabrina Carpenter in it, which is really fun, which You Need Me Now. That's just like
that's
a nice like running pump up one.
Does it have any Doechii?
No Doechii.
Do I have any Doechii? Cockney Ryan wants to know.
What is that Cockney person even asking about? Like,
who knows what their slang means, man. Cockneys are crazy.
It probably has to do with chimney sweeps.
It's all about Barney Rubble. What? We're in trouble. My number one. I don't know if you could tell in how wide my eyes got, and you can see that in my voice. All this is clear. It's Tyler. It's Tyler, the Creator's Chromacopia.
Do you guys think that we should put Chromacopia and what is it? The Tortured Poets Department sort of together as number one, and just have Tyler, the Creator, and like those are our two albums? I feel like those are the biggest albums of the year, right?
Tortured?
Without no doubt.
Cassie, thank you for coming in there and
Without
pantsing
a
me
doubt.
once again. The second time I've been pants tonight. So that's
I
awesome.
was trying to figure out what the fuck you were saying.
I'm so sick of hearing that.
All right. Are we locking it in? Ryan,
All right.
from number 10 up to number 1.
Your number 10 Pop Filters album of the year is Gracie Abrams' The Secret of Us.
Fuck you, Caitlin.
You invited me.
I know.
Because I am album of the person of the year.
By the way, all of the albums got together and named Caitlin Person of the Year. So that's pretty. Your number 9 album of the year is Charm by Clairo. Number 8 is Diamond Jubilee by Cindy Lee.
That feels right.
Number 7 is I'm Doing It Again, Baby by Girl in Red. Number
Favorite
6
album title for me of the year.
Number 6 is Tanka by Idols. Congratulations, you two. I'm proud of that. Number 5 is The Cure's Songs of a Lost World. Obviously should be higher. Number 4 is Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet. Obviously should be lower. Number 3 is Tyler, the Creator's Chromacopia.
Should be higher.
This is rocking the music world. Either you put her number 1 or you leave her off the list. Number 2 is Charlie XCX's Brat. You guys
We're
feel okay with this?
iconoclasts.
That we only put her number 2 instead of 1.
Yeah. We're so brave.
And the number 1 album of the year goes to Doechii's Alligator Bites Never Heal.
I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Not what I predicted.
No.
I don't think anybody could predict this one, honestly.
It's a wild night. It's a wild night here when we talk about music at Pop Filter.
I mean, real quick, the fact that Kendrick is off
Yeah.
is crazy.
It's
Beyonce's
crazy.
off is crazy. The fact that Mike was able to make Taylor Swift off is
Yes.
shows how much power he has. But yeah, I think that the top 10 is a good mix of, it's like half what you would expect and half what the fuck.
And I would pay whoever the judges. I know we just locked it in, but I know Remy Wolf was biting at the heels to get in the top 10. I could say kick Gracie and put Remy in there, but I know that's not official. That's my personal opinion.
You already have your own list, Mike. You can't
I
take
know
this
that's
one
true,
over two.
but now I want to fuck with this list, and it would be different than mine. Hey, all three of you, thank you so much for joining on this album adventure.
Thank you for hosting, Mike. You did an incredible job.
Thank you. I had a blast. Thank you, Ryan, for doing all the behind-the-scenes work.
Mm.
The crowd's applauding right now. Caitlin, thank you for being Album Person of the Year.
You're welcome, always.
And Cassie, thank you for being you. Thank
Hell
you for really repping your dance girl.
You're welcome.
Later in the best of 2024, we have TV coming up. We have movies coming up. Those are the things. Ryan, did you want to say something? Or are you just waving?
I just want to say that this top 10 has 3 dudes.
I was actually going to comment on that. There's more dudes in this than we've
that's
had.
too many for Caitlin. It's 3.
Wow. This is the World Liberals one. 3 dudes is too many. Ugh. All right. You know what? Keep listening to those albums. Da-da-da-da.